Hey guys, so today's lesson is the last lesson of our biology unit, and we're going to be going over some tropic responses of plants. So when we talk about tropic responses of plants, we're specifically going to be looking at phototropism and gravitropism, which are two different ways that plants respond to their environment. If you remember back to when we were talking about the characteristics of living things, responding and adapting to your environment was one of the characteristics of living things. And so this ability of plants to respond to the light in their environment and their position relative to gravity, which is gravitropism, are two ways that plants can do that. Also involves movement, which is another characteristic of living things. So like I said, characteristic of living things says you can respond to changes. It also includes the ability to respond to stimulus. And a stimulus is a change in the environment that can be detected through sensory neurons and stuff like that. So two of the main stimuli that plants respond to are light and gravity. And those two responses are called phototropism when it's responding to light and gravitropism when it's responding to gravity. Tropism is just the growth of a plant where the direction of the growth is dependent on the direction a stimulus comes from. Positive tropism means the plant is growing towards wherever the stimulus originated from. Negative tropism means the plant is growing away from the stimulus origin. And like I said, we're going to be going over the two types, phototropism and gravitropism. So with phototropism, the growth of the plant is based on the direction of the sunlight. So usually the stems of plants are positively phototropic because they grow upwards towards light. And this is because of a chemical, which is a growth hormone called auxin. And so the tip of all plants have, or green plants I should say, have this auxin chemical, and it's going to respond to light. Anytime light hits the top of a stem, auxin is going to be pumped away from that light towards the shaded side of the stem. And because auxin is a growth hormone, it is going to cause more growth on the shaded side. And then because the shaded side grows faster, it is going to tip the entire stem towards the light source. So imagine for a moment that you're standing there and the light is coming in to your right-hand side, which means that the auxin gets pumped to your left-hand side, which means the left-hand side grows faster. So stand up for a moment if you're by yourself, or if you don't care if you stand up wherever you are, and just go up on your tippy toe on your left-hand side, and that will be the growth of your left-hand side. And you'll see that when that left-hand side grows, it tips your entire body towards the right-hand side where the light is. So that's essentially what's happening. And that is really important because it then obviously increases the amount of light available for the plant for photosynthesis. Roots, on the other hand, are negatively phototropic. They tend to grow away from sunlight. And this is true even if you like tip a plant on its side or put it in like a vertical maze with just like a little bit of sunlight coming in the top. Plants will be able to move around and seek out the sunlight, and that is all because of that auxin hormone. So this is just a little diagram of what it looks like. So you have the auxin molecules that are in the tip of the stem. Wherever the sunlight hits, auxin is going to get pumped away from that towards the shaded side, which is going to cause increased growth in that shaded side, which is the cell elongation this is talking about, which of course tips the stem towards the light source. And this is just showing the exact same thing. You can just kind of see the cells a bit more clearly here. Again, each individual cell is growing or elongating on that side where the auxin is. Okay, so in this case, as you can see there, we had the coleoptile. The auxin is now in this little block here, and because the auxin has been placed on the left-hand side of the shoot here, that's going to cause that side of the shoot to grow faster and tip the plant towards the other side. So that's why this middle picture here is the correct one. Okay, so that is how phototropism works. Gravitropism is also sometimes called geotropism because the direction of the plant growth depends on gravity, which is coming from the center of the planet, which is where the geo part comes from. So roots tend to grow downwards, so they are positively gravitropic. Stems and leaves grow away from Earth's center, so they are moving up against gravity, so they are negatively gravitropic. If a plant is placed on its side, the stem will still curve upwards, the roots will still curve downwards, even in the absence of sunlight, which is where the gravitropism part comes in. Auxin also plays a role in gravitropism. In the stem and the leaves, the auxin is going to increase growth, so just like it does with phototropism. And so if, say, a plant is on its side, the auxin will build up in the lower layer just because of gravity. The auxin just falls to the bottom of the stem, and then that bottom part of the stem will grow faster, which again, because this part's growing faster, it's going to start curving upwards. Auxin actually works differently in the roots though. In the roots, auxin actually inhibits or stops growth. Once again, auxin will be in the lower part of the roots just because it falls down there because of gravity. But then because there's less growth where the auxin is in the roots, the top part is going to grow faster and the root will curve downwards. So this is kind of what this would look like. So as you can see in both the stem, which is this part here, and in the roots, the auxin is falling to the bottom just because of gravity. And then in the stem part, the auxin is going to increase growth in that lower area, which is going to cause the plant to curve upwards. In this root area, however, that auxin inhibits growth, so the top area grows faster, causing the roots to curve downwards. And this is what it would look like in a real plant if you were to do that to it. Obviously, tropism is super beneficial for plants. If the stems and leaves are growing upwards, it means they're more likely to find sunlight. They can outcompete other plants for sunlight, stuff like that, which obviously is necessary for photosynthesis. And then the roots growing downward means that the plant is more likely to find water, which is also needed for photosynthesis. Also find minerals, which it needs for some different metabolism processes, and to provide a strong anchor for the plant so it doesn't just like tip over in a strong wind. Okay, that is it for this unit.